Cash in hand and a flight home. That's the Trump administration's new offer to illegal immigrants if they self-deport. Let's go by the numbers on this new policy that was announced today. First number up here is the dollar amount, $1,000 stipend. That's how much the White House says they'll be willing to offer each immigrant who leaves after they confirm their travel through the CBP app, the Home app. The administration says also would cover the flights home. So you get $1,000 if you self-deport. They'll cover your flight home. Now, what does this mean? How does this translate economically? $17,000 is how much it costs right now to arrest, detain, and deport someone. So compare that. You're saving a lot of money, right? $1,000 versus $17,000. Now, 152% per day, $152 per day, just to detain migrants. So the DHS says the stipend would save the taxpayers a lot of money. You can take a look at it from a couple of different angles. So number one, kind of big picture here, 11 million people are said to be in the country illegally, all right? 11 million undocumented in the United States. Now, what does it cost? $188 billion right now to arrest, detain, and remove all of them. If that was your goal, if you tried to do that, that's the estimate. That's roughly $11 billion to pay for them to leave with this stipend. So that would be just scaling it up, right? 11 billion versus 188 billion. And that first number showed you by person how it would break down, at least in terms of an economic argument. To the panel on this, Connor McShane, a former Democratic congressman from Pennsylvania, and Malik Abdul is a Republican strategist and radio talk show host. Malik, you want to take this first? What do you make of it as an idea?
Hell no to the no. That's what I'd say to this actual plan. Absolutely not. I'm one of those, like many Americans around here, who had a problem with many cities expending their resources to take care of immigrants. Now, this is a position that Donald Trump, I think, to meet some goal that Donald Trump may have. I don't know exactly what that number is for Donald Trump, but this is so he can meet whatever this goal is. I can be pretty much rest assured that the majority of those who support Donald Trump would not be for paying the illegals that we say don't have a right to be here. Well, you see
that we broke that down. It would be cheaper. It'd be a lot cheaper than what it costs to deport someone, no?
You're still, at the end of the day, you're still paying people who don't have a right to be here. So I don't think this is going to fly, but maybe he's trying to meet some quota.
Interesting. Connor, your thoughts on it as an idea?
I just think it's dumb for different reasons. I mean, we don't need to deport 5 million, 10 million, 15 million, whatever the reason is. Most Americans agree that the people who've been here for a while, who are obeying the law, not breaking any rules, not hurting anyone, and are actually working tough jobs and contributing to the economy, they should be given a path to citizenship. We profit from that. It costs us zero. So instead of costing us 11 billion like this plan he would have, it costs us nothing and it gains money in our economy. Those people pay into Social Security. I thought he was supposed to be focused on the criminals, but it looks like they don't know how to do that either. So now they're getting desperate.
All right. The third member then of our panel will be President Trump. I'll let him explain, make his argument, since both of you seem to not like it. Here's what he said. Here's kind of the logic behind it that he explained earlier. Here's the president.
What we thought we'd do is a self-deport, where we're going to pay each one a certain amount of money, and we're going to get them a beautiful flight back to where they came from, and they have a period of time. And if they make it, we're going to work with them so that maybe someday, with a little work, they can come back in if they're good people.
Okay, they can come back in. I'll let Malik finish this topic. A couple other topics that didn't convince you, Malik.
No, it did not convince me at all. In fact, I doubled down now after listening to it. I just doubled down on it. There are many things that the government can do to address immigration. And Donald Trump, border crossings are down at a historic level. But this, you don't need to add this to it.
So the other topics I wanted to get to, you probably saw or heard about his interview over the weekend, where he was asked, would he need to uphold the Constitution, Connor? And he said he started his answer by saying, I don't know. Tweet from Chuck Schumer, leader of the Democrats in the Senate, says President Trump's just admitted he doesn't know whether he needs to uphold the Constitution, as un-American as it gets. I'll let you start this, and then Malik will respond. Thoughts on this topic?
I mean, every day, 18-year-olds around the country raise their hand for the first time and swear an oath to the Constitution. And it's word for word the same oath that the president took when he was inaugurated twice. They all know the answer to that question, which is yes. The actual office of the president exists because of the Constitution. So I take it as an insult. I think, I'm pretty shocked that.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.